And now let's move on to some links that we have for today. Well, it's a Christmas New Year episode, so because of that, obviously, we were not able to avoid one important thing. Is so it's really hard to imagine today this holidays without the advent calendars, right? Alex, do you like advent calendars?
Yes, I do, and I even tried to pass it. Unfortunately, not fully, but I've completed few days or few tasks. What is it? Let's start from it. So
Yeah.
it is a kind of a journey of coding. Of course, it is combined under one plate, but every day. So in the from since December 1st, they're starting to publish new episode of Advent Code and new episode in the new episode, of course, based on the plate, you have to do some, I don't know, puzzle, I don't know, maybe some coding, all this stuff. And what is the benefit of it? It is not some language opinionated. You can solve it in any language that you like. For example, the most popular actually, it is a let me recall. I suppose the JavaScript and Python. It is two the most popular, and the next Rust, C Sharp, Java, and then so on and so on. Um, of course, it is the popularity of it. It is because it is very interesting. It is not just a move something to here, or move something, or something scientific. It has a history. It has a plate, right, and very interesting to solve this puzzle. The Code Advent itself was started in the 2016, as I remember, and the audience was about 70 people. And the author was never thought that nowadays it will be 1.5 millions. So that is really popular, and the people depends from region. They're they are waking up even at 5 a.m. to start solving new day journey earlier, and of course to to pass it firstly, and be the winner of it. Kind of.
Y-
I really advise to try it. That's not a complex things. Of course, you have to spend the time, but at least I would say five of them are really not complex. It will take maybe. It depends from you actually, from 5 minutes to a few hours, I would say.
Yeah, or maybe a whole day in case if you will try to make code following solid standards and
Hmm.
etc.
Kind of. Yeah, some
Yeah.
of them really complex, from my opinion. For example, in the last year, I mean, 2023, there was passed diagrams of wires, and you will have to follow this diagram to figure out the right path. And I didn't solve it, but I found in the internet that people was printing the whole diagram and putting this into wall, and doing some interesting research around it to find the correct way. So kind of that's very interesting.
Yeah. And there is like a quite long reading history.
Yeah, and this year you have to help to find the um, how they call it, master scientific, and to end the save it Christmas.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Very interesting. And that was the first advent calendar that we found.
Yeah,
And
and
there
the
is another
second
one.
one, right, and it is more C sharp opinionated. I would say it is not like a call that they call it like a advent calendar.
Yeah. But
So, but
it's not
basically,
about the tasks, right?
right, there are few tasks at
You,
least
yeah.
for now because it is not yet fully completed. It will be complete in December 25, I would say.
Hmm.
And but mostly yes, it is just articles, some stories, and just one uh, kind of task where um, oh yeah, let's call it task to
Challenge.
try to
A kind of
challenge. Yeah,
challenge, yeah.
correct. So I like personally task in the December 1st, not task, just article, on December 1st, part one. So to just brief explanation about .NET So it is really brief, but
This one, naming
but su-
conventions. What's the difference
right,
between? Yeah,
right, but it is surprisingly solid. So you will spend few minutes and to read it, but if you're not super confident what is the difference between all of them, it will be, super super duper in your head after reading this in
yeah.
your head after reading this article. The next thing that I like it is December 3rd and part
Third,
one too.
yeah,
Yes.
I like this one as well.
Yeah.
Building a
Build
digital dungeon master with semantic kernel, right? That's cool.
that that's cool. I mean, it is even cool that it is even possible, right? So
Yeah,
someone spent the time to try to do this, and actually it is working. That interesting, just interesting to understand it is possible nowadays.
yeah,
Next thing that I like it is December 6th, both parts, one and two. They are interesting. Um, yeah, this is let it open. So it is about new features in the link queue, but the author is explaining them in the Christmas manner. For example, he's trying to calculate the Christmas Eve weight using the uh, new functionality from link queue in C# 13 and so on.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh, Funny that Chrome is rendering this
yeah,
um,
that also I didn't know that is even possible.
icon right in the URL. Yeah, that's fun. .NET
Yeah,
coding
and
puzzle,
coding
constraints change.
puzzle.
Yeah,
This is interesting too. So, what is the? It is kind of a task. Try to modify the string. So you see the string "Happy Holidays," and you have to modify it in the initialize method to change this somehow. And the input should be advent of code. And there are some restrictions that you are not allowed to do. And that's it. So, of course, there are some solutions, but I would recommend to try to solve it. Yes, it is possible with unsafe, but I mean, try to come up with your solution firstly. But if not, there are solution in the end of this article.
yeah, and I also like this
Mhm.
article because it shows that despite of the fact that C Sharp is a language which is called safe language, like it's
Mhm.
there are a lot of restrictions by the runtime and by the language itself. There are still some things that really, if you really want to do some strange, unsafe things, that you will be able to do that. That's still
Yeah,
possible.
the first time when I was looking into this code, I was wait, what? It should be simple, but
Yeah,
when I started to look into it more precisely, no, that's super simple.
yeah, cool. I like this
Yeah,
advent
that's it.
calendar.
Yeah, and that's it about this because it is not yet, as I said, it's not yet fully completed. Well, I
Hmm.
have at least 12 days in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, I believe there will be more articles soon. Uh,
Hmm.
that's that really deserve the attention. Okay, so
Right.
that were two advent calendars. So now you can enjoy them. And there are a few articles. Yeah. So this one is about open API generation in .NET 9. So as you know, that starting from .NET 9, Swagger is not a Swagger functionality is not available by default because the support of the package wasn't very great, and Microsoft decided to concentrate on generating just open API documentation, and then on top of the documentation, you can add any open source UI, including Swagger if you really want to do that. And here in this article, actually, there are some hints how you can customize the documentation, how you make some transformations of the generated documents. Um, just a good starting point in case if you need some customizations of your Open API documentation. This one, it's a .NET Scaffold tool. Um, I like this because, to be honest, for me, it was always hard to memorize all the commands that I need to pass to get something from the command line interface. I always use like this help about the tools, about all the arguments, and well, to me that was always painful and still painful because there are still a lot of the tools that have a command line interface and it's not interactive. So .NET Scaffold is a new command line interactive tool that allows you to scaffold a new project solution, and it's all interactive now. So there are menus, and you can choose the menu, you can choose the template, insert the parameters, and that's all in your command line. So just in case if you don't use Visual Studio or Rider, you prefer to use Visual Studio Code or maybe Vim or maybe something else, just plain Notepad or
Notepad.
whatever. Yeah. So now you can easily scaffold the project using these interactive scaffold tools.
Did you try
very
it,
cool.
Alexei?
Yes, I tried, and
Is
I
it
like
working?
it. Yes, it is working. It is working. So
Then,
it's like
then it's just for me, because it is throwing exception a step of creating
oh,
project.
that's strange. It is working for me. And what I think I really would like to do next, I probably would like to do the dive into the source code of this application, because this interface, interactive interface, it's not easy to build, because command line is I mean, terminals, shells, they are quite restrictive in what you can do there. And I think this application is a nice example that you can build a really nice interfaces in the command line.
Agree.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the similar tool with the similar interface, we have like upgrade project to a new version. Yeah, it's also CLI. And when you choose, when you just type like upgrade, .NET upgrade, you see some menu where you're able to upgrade just to new version of your project or upgrade .NET Aspire to a new version as well. Yeah, and you have some options. And instead of just right click in Visual Studio, you can do it by CLI. Yeah,
I mean,
it looks pretty similar.
I believe there are some people who don't use Visual Studio or Rider. They prefer to use something like that is faster, open source maybe, like Visual Studio Code or something else.
Yeah.
What I really would like to hear in this family is Entity Framework, because the same situation with Entity Framework, it is really painful to generate all these code migrations, run the migrations, customize, like not easy to memorize. Well, you can always you can go to the help and explore all the arguments that you need to pass, but still quite hard. Okay, so what else? Introducing code referencing for GitHub Copilot chat in Visual Studio. Artur, do you like it? Did you try?
I haven't had a chance to try it, because I don't have a subscription to GitHub Copilot. Yeah, we don't use on the project it.
So on our project, we do use GitHub Copilot. I'm not sure if it's already in place for my version of GitHub Copilot. Maybe I need to upgrade some plugins, but it looks quite interesting. So what is it about? So in case if you are using a GitHub Copilot and it suggests you some code snippets, in case if there are some similar pieces of code somewhere in the internet, in that case, Copilot Chat will show you this hint that you can go to public repositories and explore them and get better understanding the nature of the code and its usage. So maybe there will be more patterns that you can reuse in your project. And I think in general it's very, very useful, because when you are getting just a generated code from GitHub Copilot, there is quite always there is no full trust to this code. But in case if you go to the source code of the particular repository when it is used, I think it brings more trust to what you are going to commit to your own project. That's cool. Announcing public preview of AI Shell. Alex, I think that's from you, and you probably even tried already, right?
No, I didn't try it actually.
Okay, you didn't try.
I didn't have a chance, of course. As usually, there are a lot of interesting things, and I'm not a super fan of AI, but I'm always happy to try something. So basically, yeah, it is a kind of a way to manipulate the project based on the AI things. So based on this utility, you can easily create new solution, and also in advanced, it can be a kind of a can play a role of chat or something like this. You can directly here write the prompt and receive result again directly here in the terminal window. Kind of.
Yeah.
That's the main aim of this thing.
Yeah. So it's already available. It's still in preview, but you can try it out and see maybe that will be a useful tool in your tool set. And also,
Yeah, and of course you have to have subscription. Without it, it will not work.
Yeah. Okay. And
it looks like pretty similar to Blazor Smart Companions, yeah, where you're able to type something and it will propose some text or some comments, yeah, that you're able to execute based on your start typing of Word.
I suppose it is for people who is using terminal for everything, for scaffolding, for code writing, and again, they will be able to use it for prompting.
Yeah, but it's interesting, right? That nowadays there are much more tools, high quality tools, and much more capabilities on Windows and for .NET developers to use just a command line interface. While let's say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Microsoft really pushed us to use like all these interactions through the buttons, checkboxes, and etc.
That's interesting opinion, and I heard it in the past. I even watched a video on YouTube about from pretty popular YouTuber, this guy from USA, the Prime Channel, I suppose, the name of his channel. And he also mentioned he has a very big auditory, and he also mentioned that he noticed that the CLI utility has really new life in nowadays.
Yeah. And I'm not a CLI-centric person. I always used buttons and checkboxes. And now when I see such a good quality tools like this .NET Scaffold, I see how .NET CLI in general was improved over the last 5-6 years. And I enjoy using WSL too. I'm really starting using CLI more and more. That's cool.
The first time when I run the WSL, I was trying to run some GUI utility.
Okay, yeah. For me, that was like something that broke my mind, like maybe 10 years ago when not maybe 10, it was maybe 8 years ago when Microsoft started pushing .NET code to be run on Linux. And on Linux, you usually just have a shell, terminal, command line. That's the only that you have. And for me, that was like a mind-blowing situation because I was always thinking like, okay, so I need to host my application. I need some UI for that. I need some buttons, IIS to be in place because in IIS I could explore the applications using the UI. And now it's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just really quickly, the last 3 articles that we want to suggest you to read, they are all about security things in the browser environment. they are about cross-origin resource policy, all this, well, cross-origin opener policy, cross-origin resource policy, cross-origin embedder policy. They are all related to the headers, to the server configuration, and like they are very detailed with full of the examples. Well, I'm still trying to read them all and get a clear understanding of each of this thing. But yeah, so this is probably the first time when I see such a detailed explanation of this area. Just definitely worth to read, and especially if security is a feature that you are trying to implement on your web application.
Seems like
I would
these
advise
articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seems like these articles are so deep and so secure that their preview weren't able to load on our list site.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny fact.
Nice observation, guys.
I would recommend to save this article somewhere in the bookmarks, because every time when you have to configure something or met some strange errors with XXI, XSSI or course or whatever, you have to find how to configure it correctly, and this will help you.
Yeah, because all these three options, all these three configurations of your server, they are interconnected, and like it's quite hard to memorize if you never used them before. Right, so I think that's it for today. So what we would like to wish to our audience, I think, Olga, one more thing, right? Just one more minor thing.
Yeah. Joshua, you will announce it?
No, I think I don't have the name of the person.
Why don't you? I have sent you. Just a moment.
Okay.
I also need
Well,
to
I mean, I do have, but
come back to this
so,
to the chat.
We would like to finish this season, this 2024th year, with another gift to our community. So actually, we made an analysis, and we were able to identify the most active person who joined many our sessions. Actually, and we would like to make a small gift to this person and say big thanks. Well, obviously, we would like to say thanks to everyone who joins us. Unfortunately, we are not able to recognize everyone. Maybe sometime in the future we will be able to do that. But today we recognize Sergey for his constant joining our morning coffees, and I think we will be able to send a small gift to Sergey. Obviously there are some people who are watching our YouTube streams. Unfortunately, we do not have the full picture of that statistics, so we were able to analyze just only our Teams events. So Sergey, big thanks to everyone, and actually big thanks to you, Sergey, and to everyone. And we hope that we will see you again next year. And as usual, we will be here and we will prepare some interesting stuff for you. And for now, guys, let's just wish a Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to our audience. Yeah?
Yes, right. Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.